Hey Vern, it's about just after 5 a.m. and today we're heading into Capitol Reef National Park. We're camped just outside of it right now, some BLM land. When I got here yesterday, I actually drove through the park to get here, and I passed a visitor center, just enough time to run in there and grab a map and a hiking guide and stuff like that. So last night after I sent my Vletter to you, I was checking out what hikes I wanted to do today, and I got a crazy fucking idea, man. So one thing that stood out to me was going to Cassidy Arch. And you could drive up this road and park here and take the trail in to see it. Or you can do what I'm going to do. Take this Grand Wash Trail to the Cassidy Arch trailhead, and then the Cassidy Arch, and then back out. So that trip in total is about 7.5 miles and about 1,000 foot of elevation gain, which would by far be my longest hike. And what's especially pressing about it is I got 1 day left of this trip before I need to start heading home after today. And I do want to get to Arches National Park on the way out. So I need to leave Capitol Reef in time to get to Moab and find a campsite while it's still light out, because I don't know what the hell's going on over there. So I'm really aiming to get out of here by noon. So I got to get 7.5 miles, 1,000 foot elevation done, and get the hell out of here by noon. We're all packed up. One last thing to do today before we hop on the trail, and that is I need to drive to somewhere where there's cell service. I didn't download any maps on all trails yesterday. I didn't even think about it. And in this area, it's my understanding that some of these trails are pretty hard to follow. Since we're going to be starting our hike in the fucking middle of the night, I definitely want to get those downloaded and take those with me. Also want to check the weather once I get to some cell service, see if there's any potential of rain, since we are going to be walking in a narrow washed out canyon for a little while. Just make sure there aren't any flash floods on the way. So I think, if I remember correctly, I'm going back the way we came in yesterday, and I think we had cell service about 15 or 20 miles down the road once you get out of the canyon here. So we'll head down there and get those things done, and then we'll get to hiking. This is pretty funny. I drove until I had service, and it was right here at the pullout for what's called Chimney Rock. I know you're saying you weren't too familiar with Capitol Reef, but if you could see this rock that I can see in front of me that is not being picked up in the camera at all, you would recognize it. It's probably some default Microsoft screensaver or something. But anyway, maybe we'll have time to stop by here again when I get done with the hike. Well, we're at the trailhead now, and that's a scary thought right now. So we were able to download the maps on all trails, and I did check the weather, and unfortunately we got some snow inbound here in about an hour or two, it looks like. Now, it's not a lot of snow. It says less than an inch of accumulation, but we all know what that means in terms of flash flooding, especially in a canyon like this. little apprehensive to start this hike, but I also think I'm just kind of looking for a reason not to do it. So we're doing it. I did check the park's website for any alerts, and there wasn't anything there. I did drive by the visitor center I stopped at yesterday to see if they had Wi-Fi available while I was looking for cell service. And I didn't get out of the car and look around, but I also didn't notice anything posted about weather or flash flood warnings or anything. So we're just going to monitor the situation. If it ever looks uneasy, we'll get out of here. It's a little after 7 now, getting started. It's about the time rangers should be showing up too, so I'm parked right at the trailhead. It's right on a major road, and if there's any real concern from them, I imagine they'll see the car there and probably post someone up at the other end of the trail just to catch people hiking through. So well, it'll be all right. The sun's starting to peek its way out. There's some birds chirping along here. Pretty cool little, not really a slot canyon yet. There's some hill up there you could walk up on, but it's a pretty cool canyon, that's for sure. We're walking on just fine sediment left from previous flooding, and all these holes in the rock. You see birds' nests in there. I'm sure there's other animals in there at that point of the year that I don't want to fucking know about. So an interesting thing, Cassidy Arch is named after Butch Cassidy, who grew up, it's about 10 miles from here. Actually, on the way into the park, you pass a cabin, the sign saying, hey, Butch Cassidy's childhood home there. And I guess he used to come out here and play around in these canyons and hang out at that arch, and this was his playground. So we're hiking through Butch Cassidy's playground. Pretty cool. Well, that's a slot canyon for you. We keep looking at these rocks. Keep an eye out for Native American petroglyphs or pictographs. This whole area is just filled with them, and I haven't seen anything yet, but occasionally way high up, 30, 40, 50 feet above me, I see these markings, and there's no way they're man-made. It's had to be all natural, but they're pretty cool. We finished this hike in time, and I got a little bit of time and energy left to explore this park some more. There are quite a few little pull-offs off of a scenic drive you can go on, showing some Native American rock art. So hopefully we got time to do that, because I think this stuff's pretty neat. Now this is pretty cool. We're actually getting some plants down in here. We're still pretty deep in this canyon, but you see back here, we actually have trees growing. Huh. I guess that tells you they do get water down here, huh? Or keep moving. We in a motherfucking cave now. You got us all over the fucking place. Check this out. I think it's cool when you stumble on little shelters like this, because at some point in time someone was sleeping right there 1,000, 2,000 years ago. Just kind of feel a little bit more connected to the area. This thing's finally opening up a bit. you start to get a nice view of the rock formations in Capitol Reef National Park. So, you know, you were saying, Vern, you weren't too familiar with this park, and there's 5 national parks here in Utah, and they're all kind of clustered together in the southern portion of Utah. And Capitol Reef is one of the lesser visited of the 5, and really what the park is known for are these just rock formations, these beautiful red rocks everywhere, and these shelves, a few arches, and just hiking like this. And it's a really, really pretty area. Nothing overwhelmingly spectacular like you get in Zion or Yosemite or these top tier parks like that, but very, very gorgeous place. And it's especially nice being out here nice and early in the morning all by yourself without anyone around. You kind of get the whole place to yourself, and just really enjoyable. All right, Vern, we're about 2.5 miles in. Taking a quick breather here. I'm actually gonna eat some breakfast. I packed breakfast and lunch with me today. So a few weeks ago when I was in Saguaro, I did a little bit of light hiking there towards the end of my stay. And I was talking to you about how I thought it was a really good place for us to plan a backpacking trip. How that terrain sort of would accommodate both of our needs for hiking. And that's what I did here today. I'm kind of using this as a little test. I brought my day pack with me, and I got it packed to the brim just to add some extra weight on there. I got a bunch of shit here I don't even need for this at all. I think I'm carrying almost a freaking gallon of water in this thing. A bunch of other stuff that frankly I just won't use. I just wanted to add about 10-15 pounds on my back and hike 8 miles and gain 1,000 foot and put a time limit on it and see how I can do, because I think if I get through this all right, I think that means by this time next year I should be set to do a little backpacking trip, to be able to do 15 miles in a day with a full pack on me, 30-pound pack on me or whatever, 25-pound, whatever ends up being. So I'm hoping this works out, because I really look forward to going on that trip with you next year. All right, made it to the end of that trail. It was one way was 2.9 miles, 515 feet of elevation gain. Took me exactly an hour. So now we need to find the trailhead for Cassidy Arch, and take a quick break while we're here before we start that one. It's about a 700-foot climb. It happens pretty quick, so we'll catch our breath and fuel up and hit that one. Well, as it turns out, the trailhead for Cassidy Arch is back on the Grand Wash Trail, which we just came through a little ways, so we got to backtrack a bit to get there. But this is the trailhead here for, I guess, both of those, Cassidy Arch Trail and Grand Wash Trail. It's a nice little trailhead, a lot nicer than where I started out at the other end. That was just a little pull out on the side of a highway. But toilet here, trash. There you go. Here you can can see, you can see what we got going on here. So, going about a quarter mile, and it's a steep climb up Cassidy Arch, 1.5 miles to get there. See you there. I mean, there's just contradicting information all over this park. I think, according to the literature I read last night, what I said earlier in the video, was this thing was about 7.5 miles round trip. Turns out it's about 9 with about 1,300 feet elevation gain. And just like that, I don't know if you can see, but it started fucking snow. So, this ought to be fucking interesting. It is fucking coming down out here now, Vern. Holy shit. What the fuck we got ourselves into? You know, I said forecast called for less than an inch of snow, which to us doesn't sound like a whole lot. But I'm realizing now that even a little bit of accumulation on these slick rocks at the edge of a cliff could pose an issue. So we are not even a fifth of the way to the arch yet. I'm just taking a quick break. It is steep, and I was gonna take my time climbing up here, but I don't know, man. If it starts to get too hairy with this snow, I might have to call it. I don't want to, but keep an eye out. All right, we are about halfway up. I shouldn't say that, we're halfway there. And we're only at about 200 feet of elevation gain so far. Which, I read the reviews of the trail on all trails this morning, and they all said that the first half of the trail was significantly more difficult because of the elevation gain. Which has me really confused, because that sign down there said it was just under 1,000 foot of elevation gain. We're halfway through at only 200 feet. And looking at the rocks around us, I have a feeling that there's a significant amount of elevation to go. So, anyway, check this out. It is fucking coming down, man. Jesus Christ. Always an adventure. It's a goddamn blizzard out here. Tell you what, these rocks are getting slick. Oh, this is fucking terrible. I've made a grave mistake. I don't know if that's the wash or if that's the road. I think that's the wash. That's another thing I'm kind of worried about out here. It's getting slick, and it's just slow moving. But you know, even if I do get up here, it's going to be at least an hour to get down. Coming down is going to be rough, and then another hour and a half walking through that wash again. And then if we make it that far and we get back to the car, I'm sure these roads aren't exactly plowed around here, and we don't carry chains because we ain't like that. So tell you what, we found ourselves in a predicament. Anyway, onward. Check out that view. I have no idea where this fucking arch is. And fuck Butch Cassidy. But anyway, a little over a quarter inch of snow on the ground now. Actually, it looks like even higher up here. It looks closer to a half inch up here. According to the map, we got 0.4 miles and like 600 feet of elevation gain to go, which doesn't even seem fucking possible unless the bitch is up top there. In which case, we're fucked. But it's getting real hairy, especially around these cliffs. Slipping a lot. I'm real worried about coming down, so keep moving to see how far we can get. You know that real terrible movie, that guy who got caught in that canyon, had to cut his own leg off, get out of there? Should make a movie like that about me. Come watch this fat motherfucker climb this goddamn mountain in the snow. I have a fucking heart attack. Fuck. Holy fuck. What have we done? Oh. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. This might have been a mistake. I don't know how the fuck we get down from here. I'm goddamn freeze to death. Jesus. I was hoping to give you a view of these great red rocks around here, but instead you get a view of the white fucking bullshit. It's just fucking hammering down. Well, I found where they had the extra 500-foot elevation gain. Holy shit. Anyway, got the sign here. Cassidy Arch, half mile this way. Jesus. Alright. Alright. We're at a junction here. Now, it says I hiked 1.7 miles so far. And the trail is 1.5 miles long. And according to that sign, there's a half mile to go. So I know I've gotten off trail a couple times here, but definitely not a half mile's worth. Probably not even a quarter mile's worth. So, on top of that, I can't even find the fucking trail to go the extra half mile right now. I wish I had service so I can check the radar and see if the snow's gonna pass anytime soon. But anyway, I'm gonna sit here for a minute, catch my breath, I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna think what I want to do here, because I've walked down a couple portions of rock here, just looking for where the trail goes, and dude, it is tough. It is slow to not fall. And I know down at the first half of this trail so far, it is 3 times as steep as that, and you're right on the edge of a cliff. So hopefully there's a lot less snow down there. But yeah, let me figure out what I want to do here. All right, looked around for a bit for the trail, and even with the map I got on All Trails and the paper map, and I can't figure out where the fuck this trail's at. It's just too much snow on the ground. So I'm gonna turn around. This really fucking sucks. I really wanted to go see that arch. But I think it's smart to go and turn around now while I can still see. At least my more recent footprints are getting covered up right now as I walk. And I'm going down just like a pretty gradual incline right now, and it is just, you gotta go so fucking slow, man. It's slick. I'm soaking wet, I'm freezing fucking cold. It took me an hour and 8 minutes to get to that sign that said a half mile to go, and according to my map, I walked 1.7 miles to get there with about 700 foot, just shy of 700 foot of elevation gain. Sorry, just shy of 600 foot. It's really frustrating, the discrepancies between the literature and the map and the trail guide I got from the visitor center, and the map here on All Trails, and then the signs here in the park. I mean, each of them just say something completely different, and it's really frustrating. It seems like it shouldn't be that hard to get that thing straightened out, and I'd say it's some pretty critical information. So I guess the good thing is that aside from seeing the arch, the thing I came out here to prove was that I can do this, you know, turns out to be an 8-mile hike with about 1,000 foot of elevation gain. Wearing about, 12, 15 pounds of gear on my back in preparation for a backpacking trip. And although I didn't get to the arch, I think I proved that I can do that. And I made really good time too, despite the conditions, I feel like. So going down is going to be a lot slower here. When it's starting to pick up, I'm going to put the camera down. I'm going to try to just safely get off this fucking mountain, and hopefully I touch base with you down at this trailhead, and we'll hop on the next trail back to the car. All right. I've really been walking for about 10 minutes. Coming back, and footprints about gone. It's fucking terrible, man. And down there, way down there is where I need to get. So, all right, made it to the part of the trail where every so often you're on a fucking edge of a cliff, just past one section of it, and I'd say you got anywhere between about 3/4 inch and to 1.5 inches of snow in places. Trying to keep my eye out for a good walking stick. Yeah, this thing ain't no good, but I'm just kind of using it to figure out where I'm stepping. Because a lot of this rock is just slanted right off the edge of the cliff, and you step on it and you just go sliding. I haven't fallen down yet, knock on wood, but I've been sliding all over the freaking place. And we had a couple sections back there where I ended up having to walk off trail just to get away from the cliffs and toss my bag down and do a little scrambling to get out of there. But real curious what the first section of this trail is going to look like, because it was steep at first, man. It took me, like I said, it took me 1 hour and 8 minutes to get up top, and the first probably 40 minutes of that was going not even 1/3 of the distance. It was steep. So all I can hope is there's less snow down there at the lower elevation, but hell, when we left there, it started coming down pretty hard too. So anyway, so we gotta get there first. It's just a slow crawl. So this is where before I couldn't tell if this was the wash or the road down there, and I thought it was the wash, but it turns out it's the road. There's some tire tracks, and you can see a sign down there. So the road, that's the road leading into the trailhead. So for reference, that is the elevation that I am heading to. Way the fuck down there. And I think there's about a mile of trail to get there. So it's steep, but I think the snow is actually slowed down a little bit, at least over here. Where we're standing, it's about 1.5 to 2 inches. Still snowing up there, higher elevation. Up there in higher elevation, snowing. And the sun's finally making a little bit of an appearance. But gotta get down there. Tell you what, it's real quiet out here. Right now there's no wind. And you can hear the snow hitting the rocks and the trees up there. But if you listen, you can also hear water dripping. It's very clearly water dripping, which that puts back in my head the concern of flash flooding for later. That is, of course, we gotta get down there first. But I guess worst case scenario, we just head over to the opposite trailhead when we ended the last trailhead, started this one at, and try to flag down and ride it back to the car. But it's eerie. It's something I missed on the way up because of the snow. I couldn't see it, but check out this cliff face. That's the other side of the wash that we're getting down to. It's got to be, I don't know, about 500 or 700 feet tall. It's crazy. We're above it. Fuck. All right, we're nearing the end here, but this is gonna be the worst part. It's just steep switchbacks all the way down, about the height of that cliff over there, and it's all on rock. It's very, very slick, very slanted, and Jesus, it's all varying degrees. Like a lot of these steps are deep steps, so one step at a time. I'll get there. If it wasn't so goddamn terrifying, this would be amazing. Gorgeous. All right, it's time for a little water break here. I got probably another 250 to 300 feet to go down in elevation. The last part of the trail going up, that took me about half hour to go up, took me just over an hour to come down. And I got another hour coming down from to here. So I'd say we got another half hour to an hour to get down this motherfucker. So about a little over an hour up and 2.5 to 3 hours down, assuming everything goes all right from here. And it's a steep one. It's very slick. A lot of these places would be real hard to walk down even without the snow, and now the ice is an issue because a lot of the water has been sitting here dripping down the face of the rock and just freezing. So pray for me, y'all. Well, just about made it off of this fucking mountain. Look at this. Cassidy Arch 1.5 mile. Now we saw the sign up there that we, trailhead or the junction that we stopped at and turned around, said it was a half mile from there. So he told me it's only a mile from here to there. Yet, according to my All Trails map, I have hiked 3.3 miles so far on this fucking trail. And I'm just now getting off of it. So, either the GPS was off by about 1.5 miles, which seems unlikely, or this fucking stupid ass park don't know what the fuck they're doing. Fuck. Alright. Got off that son of a bitch ass mountain. I'm walking back in the gulch, or the wash here, back to the car. What I say, I think it's about 2.5, 3 miles from here. And I actually got quite a bit of snow down here, surprisingly. I mean, at least an inch. And while the flat terrain is extremely welcomed at this point, what I didn't consider was that it's a fucking, basically a riverbed full of rocks. And now you can't see the goddamn rocks. So it took me an hour to walk here from the car. Probably take a little longer to get back. I'm stopping to get something to eat too. So anyway, it stopped snowing down here. It's very pretty out. And pretty cool. Vern, for reference, this is that cliff wall we were looking at a little bit ago. We were up above on the other side of the wash here, just for scale. These trees here are 15, 20 foot tall. Yeah. All right, Vern. We're about 2 miles from the Sub. Oh, got me a little turkey dagwitch here. Fucking exhausted. I want to stop and take a break, but I'm so fucking cold. Every time I stop moving, it's just everything's soaking wet. So we're keep on trucking and back to the car. We need to when we get back, we need to probably drive back down to where we have cell service and take a look at the weather situation. I got a feeling that since it snowed here, and from what I saw on the map this morning, the radar, I got a feeling that Moab and Arches just got hammered. And if that's the case, I don't have a problem calling an audible. So, well, we still got a little bit of time left. Got a whole extra day left of this trip. We can head south and kind of circle back home that way. So I'll talk to you when we get back to the car, and if I see anything cool, I'll show you. Super pretty out here. Little Vern. All right, Vern. I think we got about half mile back to the Sub. I'm losing steam, but it's just so freaking pretty here. Super dope place. It's a shame about the snow. I guess it gave it its own, positive swing on things. It's very pretty with the snow. It's really cool hiking in the snow going up, but I wanted to see that fucking arch. Well, Vern, we're alive. I wanted to get out of here at 12 o'clock. Got back to the car at 12:01. It's 12:13 now. I just drove back over to Chimney Rock to use the internet here again. And I guess now I can show you what this place looks like in the daylight. There you go. I have absolutely no desire to get out of this vehicle right now because it is warm and I'm soaking fucking wet. So yeah, we're going to eat a lot of food and drink a lot of water and go online and figure out what is happening in Moab and how the roads are getting there and what Arches is looking like. And we'll see you on the next V2V. Peace, Vern. Vern, I forgot to mention, I wanted to give you the stats of that hike this morning. So it ended up being 8.5 miles, 1,906 feet of elevation gain. It took me right exactly at 5 hours. And we burned, how much calories? 22,894 calories burned. So there you go. We'll see you on the next VTV, Vern. Later.